joined now by Democratic Congressman Adam Schiff, chairman of the House Intelligence Committee. Chairman Schiff, I'm wondering what the latest information you have tonight about Russian troop movements in and around Ukraine and the plan for U.S. and NATO allies in the region.
Well, the Russians, I think, have amassed all the forces they need to fully invade the country. They've already begun that invasion, but they could very quickly move to the Ukrainian capital of Kyiv. The Ukrainians will put up resistance, but they'll be overwhelmed by the strength of Russian forces. Where I think it's going to get really ugly for the Russians is over time, as the Ukrainians are likely to mount an insurgency campaign against them. But they have the resources they need. They're already starting what we would expect in terms of Russian tradecraft, that is surreptitiously moving people into Ukraine to prepare the battlefield, softening Ukraine's defenses with cyber attacks, flooding the zone of social media with propaganda, Russian propaganda, to undermine confidence in Ukraine. So they're doing what we would expect for a more fulsome invasion.
What does this mean for the future of Europe, for the international order?
Well, it depends on whether we and our NATO allies stick together and embark on an even more severe set of sanctions, which I fully believe and expect that we will. At the Munich conference that I attended with the speaker, there was a high degree of solidarity among our NATO allies. It's going to have to be really punitive. We're also going to have to continue providing weapons to Ukraine so they can defend themselves and raise the cost to Russia. The rest of the world, including China, is watching. China with an eye towards whether it can successfully get away with invading Taiwan. So the consequences globally, the consequences to the international rules-based order could not be higher, which is why we have to make sure that if Putin goes forward with this invasion more fully than he has already, that the costs to Putin and Russia are just crippling.
I talked to former Secretary William Cohen, and he said he thought all the sanctions that we have at our disposal, the U.S. and Europe has at their disposal, should be put into place now. Do you agree?
Look, I'd like to see it all put in place ASAP, both because I think it's necessary, but I don't see the point in waiting if we can get our allies to come along with us. I think that essentially Putin has made up his mind, and we ought to begin those costs as soon as possible. So I would lean in, I think, in the way Secretary Cohen would, and move to approve and implement the most severe sanctions as soon as possible.
What would, the most severe sanction be?
Well, it would be a permanent end to the Nord Stream pipeline, and I think we're already well on the way to that. It would be sanctioning not just the fifth largest bank and other banks, but the largest banks in Russia. It would be separating them from the SWIFT system of financial transactions, really crippling their ability to do business with the West. It would be expanding the list of oligarchs we go after. It would be depriving them of technology that they need to use in their defense systems. And I think importantly, going beyond the Nord Stream pipeline to diversifying energy sources for Europe so that we can essentially shut off Russian sales of gas, their real source of wealth, to the West. And I think that would be the most crippling of all.
Congressman Schiff, I appreciate your time tonight. Thanks very much.
Thanks, Anderson.